So you clicked on this video to learn more about Boynton Beach, Florida. Well, let me take you for a Google Maps tour of our city so you can have a good understanding of what we got going on right here in Boynton Beach. We're going to talk about downtowns, restaurants, shopping, and so much more. Let's get into it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living here in South Florida and specifically Boynton Beach, Florida, well then hit the subscribe button, tap the bell for notifications, and you'll be the first to know about everything I want to tell you about living in South Florida. If we haven't met before, my name's Delray Mastropieri. I'm the broker owner of the Mastropieri Group based right here in South Florida. And the team and I, we get phone calls from people like yourself every day looking to make that smooth move to South Florida. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, don't hesitate to reach out, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. My info is in the description below, and let's just make this move happen. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to jump into the Google Maps tour of Boynton Beach. Let's get into it. Let me read to you the city of Boynton Beach's vision statement. A welcoming and progressive coastal community that celebrates culture, innovation, and business development. And I'd say the city has definitely invested in these things. They've recently invested heavily in their downtown area, which I think has fostered business development and innovation in that area. And on top of that, I've been involved in some rezoning projects and some development projects in the downtown city area. And I would say the city is very reasonable, cooperative, and easy to work with if you present a very logical plan that follows the master plan for the city. And so I definitely believe there's some serious upside in the downtown Boynton Beach area and the greater Boynton Beach market. Okay, here we are on the Google map here, and what I first like to do with every map tour that we do here is I like to talk about Boynton Beach's proximity to the other cities in the area, so let's get into that. Boynton Beach is located in South Palm Beach County. The major cities in the area are West Palm Beach to its north, about 20 minutes away. And then to its south is Fort Lauderdale, which is about 45 minutes away. And further south is Miami, which is about an hour, 15 minutes away. And then directly south of Boynton Beach is the popular Delray Beach. And to the north of Boynton Beach directly is Lantana, Hypoluxo, Atlantis, and mostly Lake Worth. So those are the major cities and areas that surround Boynton Beach. Now I'm going to point out Boynton Beach's proximity to some of the other major cities here in Florida because I think a lot of people from out of the area don't appreciate how big the state of Florida is. So let's start with Tampa. Tampa is about 4 hours away from Boynton Beach. Orlando's about 2.5 to 3 hours away from Boynton Beach. Jacksonville is about 5 to 6 hours away. If you're going to go to the Florida Keys, which is definitely a place you should check out if you live here or are visiting, the Florida Keys are about 2 hours away to the first key, and then 4 hours if you want to go all the way to Key West. And then finally, Southeast Florida is extremely close to the Bahamian Islands, and that's definitely worth checking out if you're living in the area or visiting. And it can take you as short as 30 minutes to get to the Bahamas. Also, Boynton Beach is located really well for access to the 3 international airports here in South Florida. So the closest one is West Palm Beach. It's about 17 minutes away. Fort Lauderdale is about 45 minutes away to the international airport, and Miami's a little bit over an hour. Now let's get into the geography of Boynton Beach, and I'm going to talk to you about what makes Boynton Beach special from the geography perspective. Take a look at the map here. As you can see, Boynton Beach has 2 bridges that allow access over the intercoastal to the island, to the beach. There are multiple beaches and parks on the island, which is really nice. And on top of that, Boynton Beach has its own inlet, which allows boats from the intercoastal to access the ocean. You can see here on the map that Boynton Beach does not have a lot of navigable canal systems running through the city as compared to a city like Boca Raton that has a lot more of them. And I bring this up just to say that you can probably expect to see significantly less homes for sale that are on the water where you can keep a boat behind your home in Boynton Beach as compared to a city like Boca Raton. Another comment worth making about East Boynton Beach as it compares to some of the other cities in the area, if you look at the map, you can see how close 95 is to the Intracoastal. So 95 is very east in Boynton Beach here, which basically means the downtown area of Boynton Beach is significantly smaller than maybe some other cities like Boca Raton as an example. And I think there's value in that actually, because as Boynton Beach develops, they don't have a lot of property or areas that need to redevelop because 95 is pushed so close to the Intracoastal. So you only have a little bit of space that you need to change or develop in order to make this a vibrant downtown area. So I like Boynton Beach for that reason. It's a very tight-knit, small little downtown area with a ton of potential here long-term as developers come in here and build up. So I think that's an advantage for the city that 95 is so far east in this area. Now let's take a look at the city limits of Boynton Beach here. I think you'll find this interesting. As you can see, the city of Boynton Beach maybe isn't as large as maybe Delray or Boca Raton. You can see here that the city of Boynton Beach ends basically right at where the mall is here on the map. And then beyond that is the unincorporated piece of Boynton Beach. So unincorporated Boynton Beach goes all the way west to the Everglades. And there's a fair amount of construction going on or master plan communities going on out west here in Boynton Beach. And as you could probably see here on the map, there is still a fair amount of agricultural land that exists. And I think as time goes on, we'll see more development out there as population growth increases here in South Florida. And then the other last item I want to point out is you can see here as you move further east that the city of Boynton Beach's city limits actually don't span all the way onto the island here. That's another city, technically. It's called Ocean Ridge. So the beaches that we are kind of qualifying as beaches of Boynton Beach are actually in the Ocean Ridge city. I figured that would be just interesting to point out. Now, most people divide or classify Boynton Beach into three major areas: East Boynton Beach, Central Boynton Beach, and West Boynton Beach. And so we define East Boynton Beach as east of 95 all the way to the beach. And then Central Boynton Beach is 95 west all the way to the Turnpike. And then West Boynton Beach is the Turnpike all the way west to the Everglades. This is worth bringing up because if you're looking for a place to live here in Boynton Beach, you will probably experience this. You'll probably experience that depending on whether you're east or west, you'll experience different types of homes, different prices, different types of neighborhoods, different age of construction in these different areas. General comments about east versus west Boynton Beach. I'll say this, as you move further west in Boynton Beach, you typically experience more HOA communities, more master plan communities, more gated communities. There's more 55 and up neighborhoods out there too. The construction tends to be newer, and by newer, I mean maybe 1980s, 90s, 2000s, all the way up to present day. There are definitely some master plan communities being built as we speak here. And with that comes new construction features or newer construction features, right? Higher ceilings, maybe better materials such as PVC drain lines versus cast iron drain lines from the 60s and 70s. So you get all that when you live out west. And there's a lot of newer construction out there as well, from shopping mall areas and just plazas and stuff like that as well. So as you move east, maybe you get the advantage of being close to downtown, close to the beach, stuff like that. But the construction is going to be 1960s, 1970s. And so you may pay the same price for a 1970s home in the east that you might pay for a 90s or 2000 vintage home out west. Now let's talk about roads. I like to think about South Florida as a grid-like system. It helps me visualize the area a little bit better. So let me walk you through that right now. Let's start in the east and talk about roads that move north to south. We'll start with A1A. A1A is the main road here in Boynton Beach that runs along the beach. The next road is Federal Highway. People from out of the area call it Route 1. I used to refer to it as Route 1 when I came from New Jersey 20 years ago. So everyone here calls it Federal Highway. Keep note of that. 95 is the next road. It's the major highway. It's the non-toll highway here in South Florida. The next road worth mentioning here is South Congress Ave, or Congress. Congress runs right through the main area where like a lot of the shopping here is in Boynton Beach. It's right next to the Boynton Beach Mall, as you can see here on the map. The next road is Military Trail. Military Trail kind of in the middle of Boynton Beach directly. And then the next road is Jog Road. Then Florida's Turnpike, which is a toll road. And the next road is US 441. And then after that, you're at the Everglades. Now let's talk about roads that move east to west. We'll start in the north, at the very north end of Boynton Beach. Here, Hypoluxo Road. Hypoluxo Road provides access to 95. The next road is Gateway. Gateway, you can get access to 95 as well, and it's just north of the Boynton Beach Mall. The next major road here, and actually the most important road here in Boynton Beach, is Boynton Beach Boulevard. It provides access to 95, also access to the Turnpike. It runs right through downtown Boynton Beach. It also is directly next to the Boynton Beach Mall and a lot of the big shopping in the area. And then the last road worth mentioning is Woolbright, also a very big road, provides access to 95. Let's get into some stats about the city of Boynton Beach. We'll start with the population. There are 80,000 people that live here in the city. The population growth rate is in fact actually negative according to the stats I'm looking at. It is negative 0.67%, but the growth rate of Palm Beach County as a whole is over 1%, so I suspect Boynton Beach will see an increase in growth rate here over time. Next, the city is ranked the 36th largest city in Florida. The median age of someone who lives here is 41. The median household income is $60,000. And let's talk crime. So violent crime is ranked as a 38, which is above the national average of 22. This is a 0 to 100 scale. And property crime is ranked 60, and the national average is 35, also above the national average. Now let's just talk about employment and employers here in Boynton Beach and South Florida. Now, high level, because South Florida is located so close to Latin America, a lot of these multinational corporations have their Latin American headquarters or international headquarters based in South Florida. So just for that simple fact, there are a lot of employment opportunity here in the South Florida market. And then additionally, you'll probably notice that there is a significant amount of population growth here, which is driving more employers to relocate their headquarters here to South Florida, whether it be West Palm, Fort Lauderdale, or Miami. So generally speaking, there is an abundance of employment opportunity here in the area. All right, now let me show you around some of these parks and beaches in Boynton Beach. Some of them are really nice. All right, let's start with Oceanfront Park. It's about a 7-minute bike ride from downtown. It's just north of Ocean Ave here in Boynton Beach. And it's a cool little park / beach, 12 acres in total. It sits on top of a hill. There's a picnic area. And then you can also grab a snack at the Turtle Cafe. Pretty cool beach. I really like this spot. There's plenty of parking here. Now let's talk about Ocean Ridge Hammock Park, which is just north of Oceanfront Beach Park here on the map. It's a cool little park. It's got free parking. The parking fills up very quickly, so keep that in mind. It does not have a lifeguard on duty. And what I like about this park is there is a very cool nature trail that leads all the way to the beach. Next is Ocean Inlet Park. And as you could tell by its name, it is right next to the Boynton Beach Inlet. And so people come here for multiple reasons. They come here to fish. They come here just to watch the boats come in and out of the inlet. And this inlet is a little bit of a tougher deal to navigate. So it is kind of interesting to watch some boats come in and out of this inlet. And then additionally, they come here just to go to the beach. And what's cool about the beach is you can get access to tiki huts and a grill. And then also there is a reef just off the coast here, just right off the beach. So you can go scuba dive or snorkel right out in that little area and see a whole ton of sea life, which is pretty neat. Next, I want to show you the Ocean Ridge Natural Area, which is just south of Ocean Ave here on the island in Boynton Beach, or Ocean Ridge. It's a pretty cool spot because it's got a ton of nature. You could just walk the trails. You can kayak and paddleboard in that area too. There's some boat ramps and boat docks right here. but it's just cool to see a lot of nature and see a lot of wildlife as you walk through these paths here in this little area. Now let's talk about the Boynton Beach boat ramp. It's in a pretty efficient location here in Boynton Beach. It's located just north of Boynton Beach Boulevard, east of Federal Highway, obviously right along the Intercoastal. So it's on the mainland. It's in a great location because it's directly across from the Boynton Beach Inlet. So if you're going to drop your boat in the water and you want to get into the ocean, you can quickly do that. Within a minute or two, you're in the ocean. So if you're going scuba diving or fishing, this is a great spot to drop your boat in. So also what I like about this boat ramp area is it's a pretty big park in general. So there's a lot of parking. You can also pull your boat around and dock it temporarily while you're trying to get all loaded up and organized. So that's pretty efficient. Or if you want to unload some people, so you can do that right there. So this Boynton Beach boat ramp is pretty efficient and pretty active, especially on the weekends. Last but not least, let's give some love to West Boynton here. Let's talk about this park that's all the way out west. It's called the Arthur R. Marshall Loxahatchee National Wildlife Refuge. It's a mouthful for sure. It's all the way out west. It's west of 441, sits on the Everglades basically. Huge park. If you're into a lot of wildlife, if you're into the Everglades, this is a cool place for you to check out. You can kayak, you can walk, you can bike. There's biking trails there. You can watch the airboats come in and go. That's pretty neat too. And then finally, you can watch the sunset, which is absolutely epic from this location. So this is definitely worth going on the list. Now let's talk golf. There is one city-run golf course here in Boynton Beach. It's located just south of Hypoluxo, just west of Military, just east of Jog Road, and just north of Gateway. You can see it right here on the map. It has a 18-hole par 71 course and a 9-hole par 30 course. So it's a great spot located centrally within Boynton Beach here. Now let me show you around the downtown area. Let's talk about restaurants, shopping, and nightlife. So technically the downtown area for Boynton Beach is east of Seacrest, south of Boynton Beach Boulevard, right along East Ocean Ave. This area has been in the works, we'll call it. It's not really this amazing, glorious downtown. It doesn't touch downtown Delray Beach or Boca Raton or even Lake Worth as an example. It's very small. There's not a lot going on here. There is some big plans for this area though. So the city has invested heavily here. The Community Redevelopment Agency has been collaborating with a lot of people and developers in the area to make this happen as well. The city has approved many major projects that developers have presented. And so there is some big projects in the pipeline that could dramatically change this downtown area. And that's what I would expect to see happen here over the next, call it 5-10 years even. I think this area will be completely different in 10 years. And this will be a really cool, little unique boutique downtown because it's pretty small relative to some of the other downtowns like Delray or Boca, right? So this area has a ton of potential. I am a huge believer in this area. I own property around this area. I own duplexes and other multifamily buildings in this general area. So I think this is going to be an awesome place long-term. I come here often. I've spent time and met with the mayor and different people, and I've heard what their plans are, and I think it's really going to happen. So this is a very interesting area to watch because I think values in the area are going to change dramatically once people realize and once things actually start to really happen here. So for now, it's kind of a quiet little downtown. And I think long term, it's going to be this really cool, epic place to go hang out and spend some time in. While we're talking about downtowns and nightlife, let's get into some of the restaurants here in the general area. I live in Boca Raton, but I am often in Boynton either grabbing dinner or lunch. So let's get into some of that. Two restaurants that are basically in the downtown area here. They're right on the Intercoastal, right on the water. You can pull your boat up to them. It's Two George's Waterfront Grill and the Banana Boat. Banana Boat is family owned, and so they've been here for a long time. And so is Two George's actually. And so a lot of people come here for, call it happy hour, lunch, dinner. These are very popular locations right here in Boynton Beach. Two other restaurants that I want to mention right in the downtown area. One is Hurricane Alley. The other one is Bud's Chicken and Seafood. I go to Hurricane Alley quite often. Friends of mine really like this spot. It's a cool place just to go grab some lunch. Bud's Chicken, I have not been to, but a lot of my friends talk about it and say it's really good and tell me I should go check it out. So that one should be on your list as well. The next two restaurants I want to point out here are Prime Catch and Bacciami. Both are a little bit further south away from the downtown area in Boynton Beach. They're right on Woolbright. So Prime Catch right here on the Intracoastal. Very cool spots, cool vibe, great food. And Bacciami located right here in this newish plaza here, 2000 Vintage Plaza. It's a great Italian restaurant. I've come up here often to grab dinner with friends, and I'd say these should be on your list as well. And because I have an addiction to ice cream, I have to mention the Boardwalk Italian Ice and Creamery. Great spot, located right here in downtown Boynton Beach as well. Whenever I'm up here, I try to go grab some ice cream from this spot. And finally, let's talk about the two brewing companies that are based here in Boynton Beach. They are located on the north end of Boynton Beach, just along 95. Great spots. I've gone here for some gatherings, some events, and they've had food trucks, and both locations have always been a great time, great vibes. So if you are into craft beers and stuff like that, these are definitely worth putting on your list to check out. Let's talk shopping here in Boynton Beach. The main area for shopping is west of 95, just north of Boynton Beach Boulevard here, right along Congress Ave. There's the mall, but there's also a ton of other shopping surrounding the mall area. And that's where I think the value actually is. So the mall is kind of dying. There's not a lot going on with the mall. It's kind of run down and likely will be redeveloped here at some point in the future. But around the area, it's all been developed over the years, and there's all the big box stores you can imagine. So you got the Best Buys, the Targets, the Walmarts, the Michaels. Everything you can think of, food, everything is in this area. So you can really get all your shopping done in one place. And this is really the spot to do it here in Boynton Beach. And it's really efficient to do it because you can jump right on and off 95 and be right at this area for shopping. Now let me continue to give West Boynton some love here. Let's talk about shopping if you live out west. So as you move further west here on Boynton Beach Boulevard, we'll stop at Jog Road. There's a new plaza or newish plaza here right along Jog Road and Boynton Beach Boulevard. It's where Sprouts Farmers Market is. There's a Publix in there too across the street. There's an LA Fitness. There's a ton of other stuff in this market, in this area. And what's great about West Boynton is everything feels new because most of this stuff has been recently developed. Most of these plazas have been recently built. So West Boynton Beach shopping is great because it's clean, it's new, everything's state of the art, right? So we'll keep moving west. I want to point out a couple others here on the map. So if you move further west, all the way west of the Turnpike, there's two plazas that are newish, the Cobblestone Commons and the Canyon Town Center. Both these places are newish and they have great stuff in there. So they got a Wawa in one of them. There's a Chick-fil-A here. So everything you might need out west, this is another area you would frequent quite a bit if you live out this way. Now let's talk about things to do here in the city of Boynton Beach, and let's bring it back to East Boynton and talk about the Marina because the Marina is a highlight of the area. It's owned and operated by the Community Redevelopment Agency, also known as the CRA. It's located right here in downtown Boynton Beach, right off Ocean Ave. And because the city also has an inlet, which provides access to the ocean, the combination of the marina and the inlet allow for all the activities to happen. So let's talk about that. So you can rent jet skis, you can rent boats, you can charter boats, you can charter for fishing, you can go kayaking, you can go paddleboarding out of here. You can also scuba dive and snorkel out of here. There's so much stuff you can do because of the access from the marina to the ocean. And because it's operated by the Community Redevelopment Agency, they allow all these companies to operate out of here. So this is a great spot for chartering anything that you want to do from a water activity perspective. Now let's get into the topic of schools. Boynton Beach is in the Palm Beach County School District, and the Palm Beach County School District is the 10th largest in the country. So it's a really big school system. They employ over 22,000 people. They are A-rated, so very good school system, and they have 167,000 students. According to the Public School Review, Boynton Beach schools have an average ranking of 4 out of 10, which is in the bottom 50th percentile of all Florida schools. According to the Public School Review, Boynton Beach schools have an average math proficiency score of 43% versus the Florida public school average of 48%, and a reading proficiency score of 49% versus the statewide average of 52%. I think those stats pretty much tell it all, but the gist is Boynton Beach typically isn't very well known for having great schools. Typically, if parents are looking to put their kids in a really great public school system, they're looking at Boca Raton or Wellington or some other places here in South Florida. If parents are thinking about living in Boynton Beach and still putting their kids in a high quality school system, a lot of times they look to private schools or they look to homeschooling. So those are the typical options for you if you are living in the Boynton Beach city and you are thinking about getting a higher quality schooling. Now let me highlight some of the cool neighborhoods here in Boynton Beach that I think are worth mentioning. So if I'm a buyer and I'm looking for something in the downtown area and I'm thinking Boynton Beach, then I would tell you Boynton Beach south of Boynton Beach Boulevard, east of 95, north of Woolbright, all the way to the Intracoastal is an interesting community that I think has a ton of upside long term. The homes are typically older. They're typically 1960s, 1970s construction, and they have lower ceilings and they typically have cast iron drain lines. So you're getting that type of product. And over here, there's a mix of some multifamily in the area as well. But this is a cool, unique little area that I think has a ton of upside as the city changes and continues to develop. Now, the next area here in Boynton Beach that I think you must know about is south of Woolbright, or even south of Southeast 23rd Ave, east of 95, all the way to the Intracoastal. This neighborhood, or this general area, has a ton of demand because of its location and proximity to downtown Delray Beach. Because downtown Delray Beach is so desirable, there's been an overflow basically of demand into the South Boynton Beach area, and that's this neighborhood specifically. So there's already a ton of demand for homes in this neighborhood, but I think long term it's going to be even more coveted. Why? Because I think Boynton Beach downtown is going to develop, and that's going to be really nice. And then you're going to be smack dab in the middle of an amazing downtown Delray Beach and an amazing downtown Boynton Beach. And so these neighborhoods right here, I think, are going to experience a lot more demand, a lot more price increases over time here, and maybe even a lot of new development. So they may be knocking homes down in this neighborhood long term and putting up beautiful custom homes because there's just so much demand for Delray. And long term, I think there's going to be demand for East Boynton Beach. Okay, so the last area I'm going to mention here in East Boynton Beach is basically the island right on Boynton Beach, so Ocean Ridge area. Specifically, the area that I really like personally is south of Woolbright and east of A1A. This whole little area, the streets like Sailfish Lane and some of these other Tropical Drive, some of these other streets are really nice here. I like them because you can buy a home for less than you would pay in Delray for sure, or even Boca, and you get like this unassuming, cool little quaint neighborhood that you can basically walk to the beach. It's quiet. You can quickly be in downtown Delray if you'd like, but it's kind of just set far enough away that, you know, you're in this quiet, quaint little area. And I think there's going to be some development here over time. But for now, it's a very low-key area, and you can buy into this area and be on the beach for significantly less or just a discount to what Delray or Boca is. The next neighborhood I want to bring up is Melrose Park. It's located just off of 441, south of Hypoluxo. It's a neighborhood of about 100 homes. The The average home size is about 4,000 square feet, and it has anywhere from 3 to 5 bedrooms typically. And the lots are really big, which is what I like about this neighborhood. They typically sit on about an acre-sized lot, and some of them back up to some water, which is really pretty. So this neighborhood is a pretty cool neighborhood located out west here in Boynton Beach. Let's talk about a new construction community here in West Boynton Beach. It's south of Boynton Beach Boulevard, east of 441. It's called Valencia Reserve. It's a 55 and up community. They call it a lifestyle community. And basically that just means there is a ton of amenities within this community, and it's been master planned and designed accordingly. And I think they've done a very good job of it. I've been in there a couple times with some of my clients. So this community is a quick example of what you can expect to see here from a new development out in West Boynton Beach. A quick example of some of the new construction development happening in the satellite areas or adjacent areas to downtown Boynton Beach, which we already know has a ton of projects in the works, is the Riverwalk project. It's a new development project just south of Woolbright, just east of Federal Highway, right on the Intracoastal. It's 326 apartments that are going up. It's getting close to being completed, and this is definitely going to transform that little area as well. So there's a lot going on in Boynton, and as the development continues to push north in Delray, you're going to continue to see more and more development here in Boynton Beach. That's my opinion, obviously, but there's a ton of projects in the works here, and Boynton Beach continues to develop over time. Well, I could go on and on about the city of Boynton Beach, and so I'm just going to call it here before we get into any more granular topics. In the future, I'm going to be putting out more videos like this about the city of Boynton Beach and other cities in South Florida. So please hit the subscribe button, tap the bell for notifications if you found this video valuable and interesting. And if you are thinking about making that move to South Florida or just need some support in your real estate endeavors, don't hesitate to reach out. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. We'd love to be the ones to help you make it happen. Talk soon.